Okay, so there's been a few developments, but firstly, I should just say I haven't been avoiding this situation. I've just been on holiday for about 2.5 weeks in Japan, and in the midst of that, I caught the flu. I know it sounds like an excuse. Oh, obviously, it is a bit of an excuse, but yes, there has been some developments in a story that I've covered recently, which I was quite passionate about, the DoorDash girl situation. The DoorDash girl has been charged recently by the police in America for posting videos of a nude customer. Now, I want to go through all of this because I've had a lot of people in my comment section, not really from my audience, but people coming from seeing my videos and recommended or being previously upset at my video, then coming over being like, haha, we're right, you're wrong, what do you have to say about this? And I've had a few people saying, you speak about other content creators, why do you not speak when you're wrong in a situation? Again, I was just ill. But yeah, honestly, I've looked at this, I have, and things have changed. Obviously, the public narrative is now against the DoorDash girl situation. DoorDash guy, I should say. I feel like it always has been mainly against her. I feel like there is a crowd that I am a part of that has been saying things like, well, there's a lot more to this situation. There's a lot of fake stuff. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of misinformation. And I don't think that that's necessarily changed. And honestly, this is where it's going to annoy a lot of people. My personal opinion actually hasn't changed that much. I've obviously had time to collect myself and think maybe I shouldn't have said certain things here and there. Maybe I shouldn't have just attacked everyone. But alas, in terms of my opinion on this situation, it's not really changed that much. And allow me to explain myself. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through this. And I also want to take a look at DankyJabo's recent video about the situation because I think he makes some really good points about the misinformation in this story and just how it's been handled because it is a very complex situation. I know a lot of people want it to be like, oh no, she's completely in the wrong. We're all in the right. You're in the wrong. And the thing is, I'm fighting a losing battle here. There was a part of me who was like, do I even respond to this? Because I think my audience know where I'm coming from. I've posted Instagram stories about this, but it's more like I just kind of want to help people understand where I'm coming from in this situation. So I am humbly asking for your 30 minutes of guided attention of where we're going to go through this. And if you disagree with me at the ending, fair enough. I get it. Okay, so firstly, the arrest. DoorDash girl driver charged after a recording posting videos of new customer. Now, this is the big development. A lot of people have been saying to me, you are wrong in this situation. And, you know, I'm open to being wrong. Let's take a read. A DoorDash driver in Oswego sorry if I mispronounced that, is facing felony charges after police say she recorded a nude customer inside her home and shared the video on social media. Now, firstly, this only confirms one thing to me. Well, two things. Obviously, she's been arrested. Secondly, it does confirm that the man was nude. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, you know, it's fine to be nude in your own home. Again, this is why my opinion hasn't changed much. The police have now confirmed he was nude. And the door was open, but from what we've seen anyway. And this is kind of why I want to get into the misinformation, because a lot of people have been saying and stating it like fact, that this door was open based on these images right here. This cropped photo went viral, people saying it's proof that the door wasn't fully open, but this is the original photo. Now, my problem comes from the fact that the New York Post recently, in this update about the situation and arrest, have stated, ring cam footage appears to show Henderson let herself into the man's house, and police have said there is no indication she was encouraged to go in. This is a complete lie, and this is a big problem with this situation and with this recent update. People now seem to believe that this girl just unprompted went into the man's house and almost just recorded everything in the house, when the reality is she just went to the door. Now, obviously, you can make the argument of, okay, even if this happened, even if she is a victim in terms of the door was open, there's a naked guy, why is he naked? He's ordered food and then 10 minutes later, he's just gotten naked on his sofa. The door's open, it makes no sense. But why is she posting that on the internet? Now, that's basically the main reason I believe she's been arrested. It says, recorded a nude customer inside her home. So I don't have a problem with her recording it. Now, one thing I have kind of changed my opinion on is, should she have posted it on the internet? Now, if she posted it censored, I would be like, okay, I think that's more fine. It's letting people know what's happened, and I think you have a right to talk about your story. But yeah, maybe there should, in my opinion, there should have been a censoring, and I can get why people just say she probably shouldn't have posted it. Yet at the same time, my argument here is we have someone who, in my opinion, has had something bad happen to them, and they've recorded it. And throughout the last 5-10 years, whenever a victim has come out about something that's happened to them, the big thing a lot of people like to say when they dismiss this person's accusation or allegation is, where's the proof? Where's the proof of what happened to you? Where's the proof of these things that you're telling us? Now, in this situation, we have someone recording what's happened. Now, some will say nothing's happening here. And that's an argument which I want to go into as well. Because, again, I've got really there's no winning for me in this situation because I know people have already made their mind up. But just let me explain my point here. So, this guy has ordered food. He's ordered food from DoorDash, which is coming in about 20 minutes. That's usually the average time of a delivery on DoorDash, Uber Eats, Deliveroo, whatever. And the door is open, and he has decided to lay naked on the sofa, which we've seen from the original video. He could be seen from far away, not just on the porch where she stood, but also just further back onto the actual sidewalk, which is, about 15 meters, that's my guess, but 15 meters or so away from the door. Why would he order food, get naked, open his door, and then just pass out? In my opinion, it makes no sense. It sounds like someone is an in my opinion, it sounds like someone is I can't pronounce the word correctly, an expositionist. It sounds like somebody who, in my opinion, it just feels like he gets off to it, because why would you do this? Have you personally ever ordered food and in that 20-minute time frame opened your door fully, got naked and lied on your sofa? It doesn't really make much sense. Now, the next argument will be, no, he's not an expositionist. He's just somebody that got drunk, passed out on his sofa. Again, I don't exactly think that that's necessarily a justification, because one, why is the door open in the first place? Why is it fully open, and why would he decide to get nude on the sofa? Secondly, if it is an honest to God mistake, if he genuinely did just pass out because he was just absolutely just out of his face, I still think you have the moral responsibility to not flash your piece to a delivery driver. Regardless of if they're a woman or a man, I don't think that that's something that you should do, and I think that there is a reason for somebody to be upset in this situation and to believe they are a victim. If I went past my neighbor's door and their door was wide open and I just saw them naked, I would be uncomfortable in that situation. Now, let me change the context. Obviously, this hasn't happened, but I feel like people would be a lot more angry if a kid walked by and a kid just stared in and there was a naked man lying on a sofa. I feel like a lot of people would have been upset at that, but because this is where a lot of people have brought up the comment that I made in my video of, I think people are only calling this person a liar because they're misogynists. Now, maybe I shouldn't have, painted a brush of everyone being a misogynist. I will admit to that fault. But I feel like my argument, the reason I got to that conclusion makes sense in the sense of I see what's happening here, and I think it's very fundamentally wrong, regardless if you think it's intentional or not intentional. And then I think if this was a kid, people would be outraged, but because it's a woman, they're not outraged, and they're doing everything they can to make this person seem to be a liar. Hence what we have here, but also the ring camera footage. This is a really big one. This is the original footage of the door. There is not a ring camera on this door. Look there, there's no ring camera. There's no ring camera there. There's no ring camera there. There is no ring camera in general, so I don't know where this argument is coming from. And if this was true, if there was ring camera footage, why has it not been released? It's not been released because it doesn't exist. And this is why I came to this argument of I think everyone in this situation is being misogynistic, because a lot of the arguments being made is based on lies and misinformation that's just been spread throughout TikTok comments, which is now then being spread to top journalist publications like the New York Post. Well, I don't know if it's considered a top. It's a journalistic website, So that's why I came to that opinion. And honestly, I still stand by that opinion in the first place. I don't think everyone in this situation is a misogynist, but I think there are a lot of misogynists out there desperate for this person to be wrong in this situation. And then I think there's another side of people who have just become victim to a misinformation campaign. But yes, so that's all my arguments and reasonings here. She's been arrested. I need a sip because I've not recorded anything in 3 weeks. I'm still kind of ill. I've still got a bit of a sore throat. But yeah, so it goes on to say, police say Henderson later posted the video online, where it quickly gained widespread attention. When you've put something out there, there's no taking it back, explained the city police captain. And yeah, that's true. And again, that's kind of why I've changed my opinion on this a little bit, in the sense of I don't think she should have probably posted it on the internet, or she should have at least censored it. But at the same time, again, the police have basically stated that when, it goes here, Henderson claimed that she was SA'd by the customer. However, police say the investigation determined no SA occurred and that the man fully cooperated with officers. Basically, what's happened is the police have said, there's nothing that we can do here. There's nothing that's happened. And it's like, well, this is why she's recorded these things. She's come to the police with her form of evidence, and even they're saying this still isn't enough. And it's like, imagine if she had no evidence whatsoever. Imagine if she just came onto TikTok and was like, guys, this happened to me. No one would have believed her. And that's only proven in the fact that even when she has recorded it, people are doing everything they can to disprove what she's saying. Now, what she's actually been charged with, this again is why I don't necessarily have a changed opinion. And I know that's going to annoy people, but listen to what she's been charged with. Unlawful surveillance in a second-degree felony, dissemination of an unlawful surveillance image in the first degree. Basically, what she's been charged with here is she's been charged with recording it, and she's been charged with distributing it. Again, I don't really think that changes much in this story. I've had a lot of people have come to my comment section and say, you're wrong in this situation, you've been proven wrong by the police, and it's like, I don't necessarily believe I have. I actually think the story in general hasn't actually changed that much. I think if you were on the side of the DoorDash girl originally, you're probably still on her side. And if you were against the DoorDash girl originally, you're most definitely still against her, because this will, I don't know, bolster your case in the fact that she's been arrested. But at the end of the day, I really don't think much has changed here. Yes, I think that she probably shouldn't have posted it on the internet, or at least should have censored it. But at the end of the day, this is just, the police saying you can't record people in their homes, which is a big argument to make. I get that. But then it comes into the thing of, well, people constantly say, where's the proof of your allegation? Where's the video proof of this accusation you're making against this person? And when she actually does record these things, what people do is they take screenshots that are completely manipulated into making you think a certain narrative. But the reality is the door was just open. And then you get things like the Ring camera footage argument of people on TikTok being like, have you seen the Ring camera footage? I've seen the footage. It shows she opens the door. There's no footage. There is no Ring camera. And if there was, it would be in this video. You would see it, but there is nothing there to show that there is a Ring camera. It's all a load of lies, and that's again why I'm saying nothing has really changed here. The only thing that has changed is, unfortunately, in the US law, you're not allowed to record. Well, I say obviously it's good that you can't just go into people's homes and record people, but in the context of what's happened here, it seems that she didn't go into the home. There's no proof that she's gone into the home, and it's just people spreading a load of rumors and lies. So yeah, as I said, I've had time to kind of sit back and collect my thoughts on this, and I do think that I was a bit too aggressive in my original video, but I haven't really changed my opinion. I know that might annoy a lot of people out there, but realistically, I don't really see anything that's actually changed the story. Because at the end of the day, when has the law enforcement ever really worked at the benefit of women? When somebody has got evidence, how many times in so many accusations do the law just be like, well, there's nothing we can do here, there's not enough evidence here? How many times does that happen? It happens in basically every single case. And people will be like, well, that just shows women are liars. But I don't believe that to be the case. I don't think every woman out there is lying about about their story. I just think that the legal system and the justice system don't do enough to support women. And that's just my honest to God opinion. If you're mad at it, fair enough, but the amount of slander campaigns I've seen against women just speaking up about their own stories, and honestly, a big part of why I'm so cautious in this story is because I have fell victim to misinformation campaigns in the past, just like this one, involving other individuals out there speaking about their story, and I have been on the side being like, you're lying about this, there's proof you're lying about this, but the reality is the majority of proof was just complete misinformation and things taken out of context, and that again is happening here, in my opinion. So I don't know if people were expecting me to be like, I'm completely against the DoorDash girl now. I'm not. I think she could have handled the situation better. That's the last thing I'll say. I don't think she helped herself in her TikToks. I understand being emotional, especially when you have everyone on the internet calling you a liar. I get that. But I think the best thing to have done would have been post it, maybe censored if you think that's best. I personally wouldn't have. Go to the police, obviously, originally, and then talk about it in a calm, collective way. But again, this is the problem. Who am I to tell somebody that believes they're a victim in a situation to be calm? That's what I'm saying here. And I don't really think that I'm being that unfair. I really, really don't. Especially when you just condense it down to the original story of guy orders food, gets naked, opens his door fully, passes out on the sofa, which is in direct eye line with the front door and the sidewalk. I really don't think I'm being unfair in this situation. And if anything, I have changed my opinion a tiny, teeny bit on how she should have handled it. But yeah, now I want to take a look at DankyJabo's video about this, because he obviously has been getting a lot of criticism to do with this situation, because he's probably got the biggest video out, well, at least he did have the biggest video out there about the situation. And I've actually watched the majority of this video, but I think he does make some really interesting points in here. So yeah, let's just watch a bit of it. Not the whole thing. We're going to skip throughout it, but yeah, let's look at what he has to say.
Baseless accusations and slander is terrifying, infuriating. The situation with the DoorDash girl has angered me more than any other topic that I've covered on this channel.
I'm in that category too. Like, genuinely, the amount of misinformation in this story is wild, to the point of where the New York Post are taking this misinformation. And I'm going to be unapologetic about it. This situation has annoyed me. Having people come into my comment sections being like, you're wrong, the police have arrested her. It's like, sorry, the police have charged her. That, as I said, it doesn't change anything, in my opinion, based on all of the arguments that I've made.
Sheer ease that people online will blindly believe baseless accusations and slander is terrifying, infuriating, and needs to be called out. For everyone watching, just know that I, of course, am not going to be defending everything that the DoorDash girl, aka Olivia, who I will be referring to her as in the rest of this video, has done. I think we can all acknowledge, especially if you've seen my last video on this topic, that some grave errors were definitely made on her part. And we will be talking about
And yeah, I think he's right there. I think if there was one thing I would have changed about my video, it would have been being less completely 100%. No, everything she's done is right. I think that there are ways she could have handled the situation better. But again, it comes down to the whole conversation of the perfect victim. No one out there is the perfect victim, and I think everyone expects victims in these stories to not be emotional, despite what's happened to them is very emotional. And now, adding the context of everyone on the internet is calling her a liar. Are people really shocked that when millions of people are calling you a liar, you have a bit of a mental breakdown? I personally am not shocked by that. So again, I do think it could have been handled better, I really do, but at the same time, I understand where she was coming from.
Those two in detail in this video, so don't you worry about that. But at the same time, she is getting lambasted and slandered with so much vile, false narrative-led, hive-minded fury that once again, it just does need to be talked about. Because somehow, it's only gotten about 100 times worse since a few weeks ago. So in this video, we're going to be explaining exactly—
Yeah, it's got like 1,000 times worse. I never really get comments being like, you're wrong about this, but this is the first time I've had people be— I had a content creator reach out to me being like, are you gonna like respond to his comments? And I was like, I'm getting comments. And by the way, the comments are just on the video that I made about it, so it does make sense. But I I'm not really someone to ever care about comments, to be honest with you. I will usually just laugh, especially unless it's like a genuine like critique. I will take that in. But when it's like people like basing their opinions off lies and misinformation, I usually don't listen. So that's why I was a bit more annoyed in this situation. But sorry, let's continue. By the way, I am on my phone because I'm checking the dislikes that this video has because I'm really interested to see how the audience responded.
What we do know about Olivia's arrest and dissecting all of the blindly believed lies, such as Ring doorbell camera footage, for example, that despite being parroted so many times by people online, I'm sure you've heard of that rumor, is completely made up. Then we're going to look at the legislation that the arrest falls under in an attempt to figure out how guilty Olivia actually is, as well as if the court case will go anywhere. And just a wee spoiler alert, by the way, it will not be 4 years like so many people are saying it'll be. P. Diddy got just over 4 years for reference. DoorDash girl and P. Diddy will not be serving similar sentence time for their crimes. Don't worry, I will be going into more detail when we get to that part though. And finally, I'd like to talk about some of the coverage of this situation by people on...
So this video has 6,000 likes and 600 dislikes, which is a pretty decent ratio, but to even see that 10% of the likes and dislikes are dislikes, it's genuinely ridiculous because I feel like DankyJabo in this video is very fair and very nuanced, but it does just show the level that people are just willing to just endlessly critique you despite how nuanced and playing the middle ground you can be and being only focused on facts.
Online, both niche and popular, just so I can show you just how really and truly how brain-rotted and infuriating the whole thing is. So to start, let's talk about the public narrative currently for everyone who doesn't know. It's in the Ring doorbell footage that she opened the door. Ring doorbell video shows it. Where the fuck is this footage? A very good question because everyone is saying that there's Ring doorbell footage. I mean, even in the comments of this random TikTok, there are hundreds of these TikToks, both in defense and against Olivia. Again, we'll get into all that later, but just to show you what the public is saying, let's have a look at these comments, right? They're fucking ridiculous. I got you. Just search DoorDash opening video. Lots of...
I feel like we're in a hive mind on the internet, man. How are people saying this? When you search these things, it doesn't come up. Deleted the video because of TikTok and posted... What does that even mean? These accounts have to be AI. That has 500 likes.
Videos will have proof that she said she opened the door, deleted the video because of TikTok, and posted saying wide open. Completely fucking false.
Yeah.
And this has 536 likes. It's the top comment on this video. 1, he didn't touch her. No one said he did.
Yeah,
2,
literally no one has said that.
she opened the door and filmed him. She didn't open the door. There's no fucking proof of that. It's all made up.
Again, this is what I'm saying here. There is no proof of anything. Like the main things being... Let's be real here. We've got 3 facts in this situation. So we've got 3 allegations in this situation. We have the DoorDash girl's original allegations, we have the public narrative's allegations, and then we have the police charging her for recording what's happened here. Now, let's just go to those 2 original allegations, the DoorDash girl's allegations and then the public's allegations. Where is the proof on both sides here? Well, we have a load of proof in one main video, one original video in the story from the DoorDash girl. But then in terms of the proof from the public accusing her of lying, there is no evidence. In fact, the only evidence we have is this cropped photo here, which is actually from her original video showing what happened. That's the only evidence people have against this girl. And then what happened is she was charged for taking evidence of what happened in this situation. That's again why my opinion really hasn't changed in this situation and why I'm just so frustrated, because nothing has really changed that much.
Just saw TikTok. The DoorDash girl has a history of breaking and entering. Again, for the record, this is all like, these are all the top comments here. I'm not scrolling down to find these. It's all just a bunch of complete fucking bullshit. Hello? She came into his house. No, she didn't. She didn't go into his house. We have the fucking video. She did open the door though.
No, she didn't.
Fuck do you know? You're making it up. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. Everyone's saying this. You're actual fucking idiots. You should not be on the internet. You're too dumb and naive for it.
I mean, he said it. He said it, not me.
Only reason you believe it is because you've read a bunch of TikTok comments saying it and not looked into it at all. Because if you did, you would immediately come to find that none of what you're saying is fucking true. I thought we had left my dog ate the homework excuse back in like 2012. Why is it being used now? It's like, oh, there's footage of her opening the door. Okay. getting so drunk that you were passed out on your couch naked for reasonable expectation of privacy. He was disrobed in the living room with all the lights turned on, the door wide open, with a DoorDash delivery on the way. The house is also a duplex, which we now know, so anyone could have left or entered, like, at any time. And even if he didn't intend to flash her, what the fuck are you doing as a grown-ass man getting so drunk that you are passed out on your couch naked when there is a DoorDash delivery on the way?
And this is exactly my argument here. Let's be real, to the people that are against what we're saying now, me and DankyJabo and everyone else on the DoorDash girl's side, have you ever ordered DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever, any form of delivery app? Have you ever ordered that, gotten naked, opened your door, knowing that there is a sofa that is an eyesight completely of that door and the sidewalk, and just laid out naked on that sofa, knowing that a delivery driver is going to be there in 15 minutes, but also whilst living in a duplex where there are going to be a lot of people nearby because you're in a very close neighborhood and anyone could have seen you? Because, by the way, it may not have just been the DoorDash girl that saw this, or at least there was the potential of more than just a DoorDash girl to see this guy naked on the sofa. So, again, this is why my argument really hasn't changed much. The only reason that people are saying she's wrong in this situation is because she's been arrested for taking evidence.
At worst, it wasn't intentional flashing, and at best, you are a grossly irresponsible fucking idiot. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the evidence that this Ring doorbell camera footage exists, shall we? So the page that most people are citing is this New York Post article. New York DoorDash driver arrested after sharing video of naked customer passed out in his own home. I'm just gonna skip to the Ring doorbell bit. You can read this fucking article if you want in your own time. However, Ring camera footage appears to show Henderson let herself into the man's house, and police have said there is no indication she was encouraged to go.
It's such bollocks. There is no evidence. We've looked at the fact that there isn't a Ring doorbell on this door. It's such utter bollocks.
Let alone film. Right. Let's be clear here. This is a bunch of bullshit from the New York Post, who are not a credible news site by any means. Let's be really fucking clear here. They say that the police have said there is no indication she was encouraged to go in. The police didn't say anything about the Ring camera footage. They just brought that up completely separate from everything else. The only way they would know that for fact is if the police fucking told them. The New York Post have not interacted with any police officers who are part of this case. And they were sneaky about this. They used the word appears very intentionally there. Ring camera footage appears to show Henderson let us.
And again, is this not like the argument? Again, let me present like a very fair argument in my opinion. Everyone is saying that the DoorDash girl is lying and she is in the wrong in this situation. But I am not seeing any of those same people saying that it's wrong to lie about her. I've never seen somebody be like, Fraser, I think you're wrong about this situation, but I also think everyone else is wrong about this situation. I don't think she should have recorded it and posted it on the internet, but I also don't think people should be going around spreading false information, false screenshots, and building a narrative based on all of these false screenshots and lies about a Ring camera. I've not seen anyone make that argument. It is just, this woman is the worst person on planet Earth. She was proven to be a liar by the Ring camera footage that doesn't exist, and also there are these cropped screenshots that prove that she opened the door, and there's also videos out there of her opening the door when there absolutely is not. That's all I see from the argument from the side that is against her. It just makes no sense whatsoever.
Herself into the man. They use appears because what they're actually doing here is referencing the thousands of
And yeah, again, a lot of people, sorry, the original point that I was making before, everyone is so mad at this person for supposedly lying, but no one is mad at a top journalist, like, well, not top journalist, but a news company lying about this and using the word appears to get around it. And nobody is mad at all of the people going around spreading their lies about it. They're perfectly entitled to do that and ruin somebody's life over it. But then they'll be like, oh, how dare you ruin this guy's life about this thing that you're definitely in the wrong on based on all of our misinformation. It makes no sense.
Comments saying that Ring camera footage exists. They do not have any actual evidence that that it exists. That's why when you look at any, like, credible news article or credible news website, they don't say anything about the Ring doorbell camera footage because it doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah, and I also feel like there's this thing when a news article says something, like the New York Post writes something down, I think a lot of people just assume that the news are like in the right about everything and will never spread a lie or will never spread misinformation or will never get anything wrong. But these news sites do get things wrong. And in a time where clicks are so important and getting to the story before everyone is the most important thing, these news sites will jump through hoops to get their post out there and to make it the most clickable. Because by the New York Post saying this, it's going to get the most attention out of all of them because it feeds into the narrative that the most people out there are kind of standing by. Most people out there believe the Ring bell DoorDash girl theory because it suits their narrative, and when a news company also then says that this happened, they're going to click on this over all of the other articles that doesn't reference the supposed Ring doorbell footage.
Led to so much bullshit because you get people citing shit like this one, for example. Look at this. Claims that his door was wide open when multiple sources have said that she opened the door, and they link 2 sources to the door being wide open. Well, I mean, that is incredible. We only saw one. We should check some other ones, right? Oh, this one's from The Independent. Let's have a look at what The Independent has to say, a UK newspaper. Ring camera footage taken from the home reportedly shows her opening the man's door on her own. Oh, well, I guess according to the New York Post. You fucking idiot. You don't know anything about...
It's crazy that these news companies are allowed to say this stuff, man. It's genuinely mental. And no retractions, by the way.
About anything. You have linked 2 sources, but the second source is just the first source again. This is what I mean. This is why I fucking despise the internet. Everyone is so dumb. Everyone is so dumb and out to get...
Yeah, I genuinely feel like I'm witnessing a hive mind in this story. There is literally no winning. Like, if I go to the recent comments, I wouldn't be surprised if it's people just hating, maybe. Why you describe her like she just made mistake, but him like grown-ass idiot, and the same way about comments defending... Because he is a grown-ass idiot. I mean, he's either a grown-ass idiot or he's somebody that intentionally did this. What would you rather it be? Is it not being a grown-ass idiot to be an adult man, order food, and then to get naked and lie on your sofa? A lot of people would describe that in a much worse way. At the least amount of criticism we can give him, I think that is being a grown-ass idiot, you know? Tell me you've not watched actual lawyers talk about this without telling me. She deserves jail. You're an absolute bellend. No actual argument, no proof. Love your videos, but I'm not sure if I agree with her take. Agree with this take. Her posting the video automatically makes her guilty, and posting the video was illegal. What does that even mean? We are in a world of where people constantly say, "Where's the proof?" And when somebody has proof, now it's a bad thing. Do you know? Am I going insane? I feel like I'm genuinely going insane. I don't know if people in my audience disagree with me. Like, honestly, I don't really care if randoms disagree with me, but I like to think that my audience have like a brain cell. I like to think that. And even if you like disagree with how I handled the first thing, surely we can all agree there is no problem with taking a recording of what happened. I understand if people think she shouldn't have posted it on the internet. I get that. I do get that. But surely we can all agree there is no problem in taking footage of something where you feel victimized. Like, surely, man. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Just out to fucking get people for nothing. You can criticize.
By the way, I should just say the majority of DankyJabo, like, I think like a good 99% of his audience are like on his side. This is why I don't use TikTok. Everyone will believe anything they're told and make drama over absolutely nothing. Thank you for being angry about this. I genuinely have been tweaking over these videos I'm seeing. The misinformation in this case is rampant. Basically, it's most people agreeing that the internet has no nuance that this person says here. I'm not on her side, nor am I on his side. None of this should have been happening from either person to begin with. It's also incredibly weird of her if she genuinely believes she was essayed, that she isn't getting paid for the video of her essay. I don't know what that means. I again, with the conversation around her being essayed, I think like it's more... someone has indecently exposed themselves to you is probably the best way to say it. As I said in my original video, some people will class that as SA, some people will not. That's a debate that I'll allow other people to have at the end of the day. If somebody feels that they're a victim in this situation, then they feel they're a victim. People will disagree with the SA claim, and I understand where that's coming from. I do. People could, there is indecent exposure and SA. Can you kind of mix them into the same thing? Some people will say you can, some people will say you can't. I get why there is a debate about that, but at the end of the day, I still feel like she is in the right over this guy. I still feel like she has a right to be outraged about what happened. Again, her handling could have been better, but like I said earlier, there is no perfect victim.
Olivia Henderson for the genuine crimes that she did commit, for showing a man's naked body to millions of children online. That's fucked up. She deserves to have her DoorDash job removed from her. She doesn't deserve to get paid from those videos, which she clearly wanted because she was begging for it. What she doesn't deserve is to be completely slandered and made lies up about. And also huge assumptions about her being some kind of fucking attention seeker who planned this whole thing out, who saw the bloke naked, wasn't genuinely traumatized, wasn't genuinely hurt by the situation, but just saw it as a wee opportunity to get some clicks or some follows to her page. You don't fucking know that. You don't fucking know her. Having a traditionally female name on DoorDash for years has led to pretty creepy results a lot of the time.
Yeah, this is very, very true. There is a reason that the most people that are delivery drivers are predominantly men, is because of how bad the experience women get with these apps. You will rarely get a delivery driver that isn't a man. And this is why.
How can you blame a woman for delivering?
Not the DoorDash situation isn't why. The situation of just people receiving very creepy behavior is why.
Something to a house, the door being wide open, someone naked on their couch with the lights on in a fucking duplex, and genuinely believe that they're delusional for thinking that it might have been intentional. And that is not me saying that it was for sure intentional, by the way. The main issue here is that you cannot prove without a shadow of a doubt whether it was intentional or not, which means in court, there is reasonable doubt. A lot of people have been saying that realistically what she should have done is just taken the video and kept it to herself and not posted it online and, kept it for evidence. But, that is also illegal. You can't record someone naked in their own home like that.
So again, this is the problem here. It's illegal to record somebody in their own home. That's why she's been charged. That's why I don't think much has really changed in this situation, or why she's necessarily been proven to be wrong. Even if she is convicted of this, and even if she receives, I don't know, a suspended sentence, I imagine that's as far as it would go, or she'd have to pay a big fine. I don't think she's going to get jail time over this. That would surprise me, but maybe I'll be wrong in that in that aspect. But even if she was convicted of recording someone, what she's being recorded of is taking video footage of what happened. And some will say, as I said earlier, well, she doesn't have to post it. But even then, she's just been individually charged of recording what happened. So even if she didn't post it, she still would have been arrested in this situation. And again, it comes into the whole argument of, well, people are constantly speaking about where's the proof, but when somebody has proof, it's now a problem.
Well, it's complicated. It is genuinely complicated, and I'm tired of people...
And yeah, again, he's not wrong here. It is nuanced. As much as I am still on her side, I do think there is nuance here. And I think that's my main regret about my original video. I should have been a little bit more balanced. I think I was just more annoyed about the amount of bollocks that there's going around like this, the amount of lies and clickbait and misinformation like this. I think that is what really annoyed me in general.
As though it's not complicated at all. And as much as there are definitely people on Olivia's side who are just refusing to acknowledge that she has done anything wrong, the people on the other end of that spectrum are worse, in my opinion. At least the people
that's what I'm saying, pretty much. I get that's yeah.
Defending Olivia aren't making shit up. They just have a different opinion. Well, I cannot make it any clearer to you guys. The only information we have about this situation directly is the initial video that Olivia posted and that we've all seen. Where the door was wide open, she says it was wide open, and there was nothing before that claiming otherwise. Her story has stayed the same from the very fucking beginning.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Now, again, she has made about 8 different videos since this whole happened, and there was videos of her, just being very outraged, and I don't think she should have done that. In an ideal world, I don't think she should have posted those videos, because it just didn't help her case. It didn't. But at the same time, I can understand why she was outraged. Some people may say she was clip farming, she was trying to get attention, but when you've got millions upon millions of people calling you a liar and being wrong in a situation, you are going to lash out. And that's, I've experienced only a couple people come into my comment sections, and it's even annoyed me. I can't imagine having millions of people doing that. That would be very stressful. So as much as I think she was wrong in some parts, I can also kind of understand it. What I can't understand is what's happening in this footage right here. Why would you order something and then get naked with your pants down and lie on a sofa with the door wide open in a duplex? It makes no sense.
First of all, it's a fucking pull door. It's not even a push door. So for everyone saying she pushed, oh my goodness. For everyone saying she pushed
Yeah, I didn't even realize that, to be honest with you. That's crazy.
to open, fuck you even more. You can't even push the bastard doormat. You are all so goddamn
And that also proves that there's no Ring doorbell on the other side, because it would, like, if there was a Ring doorbell on the right side where the door's like open over, it would just kind of get pushed off if you were to like move the door like that. Like if you're pushing a door open and there's like a DoorDash, like if there's a DoorDash camera here, sorry, a DoorDash camera. I fear I've been saying a DoorDash camera throughout this video. I'm ill, leave me be. A Ring camera, and then you push the door and it goes onto the Ring bell. It's going to fall off. So again, even more proof that there was no Ring bell, and that was all complete bollocks.
stupid that it's unbelievable. Everyone's saying there's Ring camera footage. I don't see a Ring camera anywhere. I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but Ring cameras, they have a look to them, right? They actually are there. They're not fucking invisible, and there's nothing there. So
I believe I have one.
fuck a doodle do.
One second. Look, I have it in the box. I bought this recently. I bought this before the situation. I just haven't put it on my door yet. And look at this thing, man. Are you telling me that if there was a Ring doorbell on the door, we wouldn't notice it? This thing is like the same size as my hand. Like if I put this back here on a black thing, you can still see that. You can see that. If I put it up here, you can see that. That's like relatively, like, it's big. It's a big doorbell, you know? It's bigger than the average doorbell. If this was on his door, we would see it, you know? It would be there. There is no Ring camera footage. Like, I can put this far as back as possible and you will see it. You know what I mean? Like it's big. You would notice it if it was in the footage. And now let's go to the actual footage here. If there was a Ring doorbell on a white background, you would see it. Like, look, I'm on the small camera right now, but you can see that. If I put it down, trying to like get it in the camera, you can see that there. You can see that. So there is no Ring camera. I'm sorry, but there isn't. From what I can see in this footage, there is no evidence of a Ring doorbell. I just can't see it. Sorry, let's continue.
It gets even worse, if you can believe that. It gets so much worse. And we'll talk about that later. For now, I want to actually get the arrest out the way because let's stop talking about what hasn't happened and let's talk about what has happened and figure it all out. Well, to the best of our ability, of course. And also because I need a bit of a fucking cool down here. DoorDash delivery girl has been arrested on 2 felony charges after recording a man passed out with his pants down in his own home and posting it to TikTok on a food delivery. She's being charged with unlawful surveillance and dissemination of surveillance images. And you can see those charges here. This is the tweet that went viral because of all this. Got like 120,000 likes, as you can see over there. It's just a wee screenshot from the Oswego City Court, though. We do have the full records and press releases, however. Here we go. Oswego City Police Department. On the 13th of November 2025, an incident was reported to the Oswego Police Department regarding an event that occurred on the 12th of November 2025. It was reported that a male DoorDash customer has been nude inside of his residence when a DoorDash delivery driver dropped off a food order. An investigation was initiated by the Oswego Police Department, during which it was discovered that the delivery driver had taken video of the nude male. The video, along with a subsequent investigation, indicate that the male was incapacitated and unconscious on his couch due to alcohol consumption. So for the record, I don't know if the alcohol consumption thing is true or not, because any breathalyzer they could have done is like, he was drunk the fucking day before. You know what I mean? So I would assume, I could be wrong here, but I would assume that is just because he said he was. Maybe he had like some sort of material evidence. I'm not too sure. But if it was just his word of mouth, it's like, of course he would fucking say that. But also, above all else, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's still ridiculous. You getting naked and fucking the door.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, this still happened. She's only been arrested and charged because she recorded evidence. That's it. That's literally it.
Wide open and shit. There's no justifying that. Like,
she's not. I don't believe she's been charged with lying here. By the way, I think that's a thing like a lot of people seem to believe. And as far as I can see, she has not been charged with lying. She's been charged with recording and distributing.
Exactly. Can it be proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was genuinely unconscious? If anyone can answer that for me, then I'd be well pleased. Thank you. Genuinely, like I said earlier, whether he's unconscious or not, at worst he's a flasher, and at best he's a fucking idiot who unintentionally flashed someone, which still isn't good. Everyone coming to his defense as though there aren't 2 people who have done wrong here. It's just. And
again, like I said earlier, if this was a kid in this situation, I feel like the argument and the outrage would be completely different.
You know, morally wrong, whilst she was legally wrong. As well as morally wrong. She was also morally
wrong. Again, this is what I'm saying. I've said it loads of times, in fact. The US justice system does not dictate morality. And I can only prove that in my next main channel video, which is going to be about James Charles and the absolute plethora of allegations against the man. And Jeffree Star, who was exposed for having a hush money scandal, covering up his own allegations. These people have all done terrible things, yet they are allowed to just be free. And they are technically, in the eyes of the law, not guilty. But you and I would say James Charles pedophiles is a predator. We would say that based on all of the evidence that we have seen, all of the people taking their own screenshots, taking their own proof. We would say that, and just because he hasn't gone to jail, would we not then say, oh, well, he must be innocent because he hasn't gone to jail? We all know that the law does not dictate morality, so I don't know why we're being so different in this situation. How many people out there have been exposed for predatory crimes but haven't gone to jail? I would say genuinely around 95% of cases with influencers, you have somebody that has committed a crime and the majority of them will not be convicted of that crime or even charged with that crime. It's utterly ridiculous that we seem to believe that the law is the basis of morality here.
You're wrong. She shouldn't have done what she did. It's fucked up. And for the people who are complaining that I don't have the same amount of vitriol or anger when I talk about her as when I talk about him, and are pinning me as some sort of fucking performative male because of it, first of all, it's probably a good thing that you fucked off already, because I probably don't want you here to begin with. But secondly, the reason why
that's what I'm saying. This is kind of why I don't really care. Like, if people are mad at me and they're not in my audience, I don't really care. If people are mad at me and they're in my audience, I'm genuinely curious to know why, because I feel like I have been fair in this situation. I feel like DankyJabo has definitely been a lot more angry than me. I get it. I do. But yeah, yeah.
Near as angry talking about what she did is because no one is on the internet lying.
By the way, I'm on his side here. I'm not saying because he's angry I'm against it, but I'm on his side. I get his anger. I'm also very annoyed
about what she did. Well, they are literally lying about what she did, but no one is lying to, like, in defense of her. What's got me so angry and emotional here isn't the event itself. It's the complete slander and misinformation that can just be believed by millions of people based on nothing. I think that worries me a lot more, because that's not just one standalone case. That is a continuing trend that has been on the internet for decades now and has no signs of slowing down. And it's
getting worse. It is fundamentally getting worse. That the internet is becoming an absolute cesspool of misinformation, and people just believe everything that they read. But not just that, I think the main problem with a situation is when there is something ongoing, when there is a controversy, it goes like this. First thing happens where somebody calls out somebody, everyone goes against that person. No matter what, they go against that person. But then that person then speaks up, and no matter what they've said, for the most case, what I've seen on the internet is, oh, everyone then goes against the original person, and then the original person speaks up, and everyone goes against that person, and it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Because people on the internet have no idea about the concept of nuance in any situation, and that's perfectly exemplified here. I think that the DoorDash girl situation was right in feeling that she is a victim in this situation. But do I think she could have handled it better? Yes. Do I think she shouldn't have posted those videos of her incredibly outraged? Yeah, I do. But again, I think there's the nuanced argument of nobody is a perfect victim. Now, with the guy who passed out, is there a potential that he just did it because he was genuinely drunk and he passed out naked despite ordering Deliveroo or whatever you call it, Uber Eats 15 minutes ago? That is a possibility, but I don't think it's a justification. I still think that that is a problem, especially when you think about the context of whatever kids saw. We would all be much more angry, in my opinion. But then we need to talk about the fact that, well, what about the ring camera footage, the cropped photos? Why are we not angry about that? Why is everyone so desperate to use these things against this person when the reality is the only actual evidence in this situation of anything anyone is saying is the original video? There needs to be more nuance in these situations, but unfortunately there is not. And by the way, nuance doesn't mean that I'm against this person. Nuance just means that maybe it's not as black and white as everyone is saying it is.
Dangerous. It's so terrifying. I don't think you guys fucking understand how terrifying it is that so many people are so willing to believe shit like that when there is no evidence for any of it. Now, I'm not angry here because people are pissed at the DoorDash girl. That's completely fine. You have every reason to be pissed at her. What she did was fucked up. I would hope that you can also acknowledge that she is absolutely a victim here, though. A victim of flashing. Doesn't matter if it was intentional.
Yeah, she is. You can debate the SA thing. I understand that. But she's still a victim of indecent exposure. She is. It's happened. And you can't deny that. There's video proof of it. That, like, if you were going down the street and saw someone naked with their door wide open, like if somebody was just sat on their porch naked, you would feel like you've just been flashed. Same thing of if somebody was stood in their doorway, which this guy basically was, you would think that you've been flashed. If they're on their sofa naked, for a meter or 2 or 5 meters away, but it's still a perfect aligned view with the porch and the sidewalk, you would still feel like you've been flashed. Anyone would.
or not, she is still a victim of flashing. The video was taken from the exterior of the male's residence. First of all, again, exterior. She did not enter for everyone lying about that shit. The DoorDash driver subsequently posted the video to social media where it drew significant attention. It was further discovered that the DoorDash driver had made claims of being sexually assaulted during this incident. The investigation by the Oswego Police Department determined that no sexual assault occurred. The male depicted in the video cooperated with police and provided a statement. So yeah, officially and legally no sexual assault occurred, which I think is fair enough. I got a lot of comments in my last video on this whole situation saying...
So that comes into the whole thing. She hasn't been charged with being a liar there, by the way. That's the police saying they haven't found any evidence to prove that. That's not her being arrested for lying. That's not her being charged for lying. And I think that is why, I think that's what he's about there, about, he's going to get into the comments of people being like, oh, she's been proven to not be a liar. It's like, no, the police have said, based on evidence, that they don't think that she was sexually assaulted. But that has happened in so many situations, and it gets into what I was speaking about earlier. The amount of times a victim can have, like, trust me, I have women in my life that have gone to the police with so much evidence against people that have done things to them, and the police have said, sorry, this isn't good enough, sorry, this isn't valid evidence. The amount you need to prove these things, especially in the United States, is genuinely insane. It's ridiculous. You need so much evidence to the point of even when you have a video of someone flashing you, you still are going to be told it's not good enough. Now, you could make the argument of she should have went to them about flashing, but even so, if they were going to talk about flashing and indecent exposure, I'm pretty sure that they would have said to her, you weren't essayed, you were flashed, and that is still a case. But they even then still didn't do that based on what they've said in this report. I've just ended the video by accident.
It's for sure intentional.
We're going to have to find where we were. But yeah, what I'm saying here is, again, so many times people have gone to the police and it never has led to anything. I don't necessarily think that that changes anything because we have a video of her being flashed. We have a video of it. So again, that's why I don't think anything has really changed here.
Determined that no sex enough. I got a lot of comments in my last video on this whole situation saying that there doesn't actually need to be physical contact for it to be a sexual assault. I am aware of that, and that is genuinely completely valid here. I think I was more trying to say that this situation in particular cannot be classified as sexual assault.
Yeah, in the eyes of the law. And I get why people feel like it's different to them. I get that. People have opinions that are different based on the law, but in law, it's not essay as far as I can tell.
A lack of physical contact is a big reason as to why it can't be considered sexual assault. That's not to say that every sexual assault has to have physical contact, but, you know, it definitely helps in terms of getting it, I guess, titled as sexual assault legally. Because flashing absolutely is, you know, a form of sexual violence and harassment. And in certain cases, can also classify as sexual assault, just not this one. The investigation ultimately led to the arrest of the DoorDash driver, Olivia Henderson, 23, of Oswego. For recording and disseminating the videos, Henderson was charged with the following: 1 count of unlawful surveillance in the second degree.
Yeah, again, she hasn't been charged for lying or anything like that. It's been charged for recording and just distributing the videos.
1 count of dissemination of an unlawful surveillance image in the first degree. Now, we'll have a look at those charges later and dissect exactly what they mean and how guilty Olivia is of them. Henderson was released after being processed on the above charges and was issued an appearance ticket for a future court date in Oswego City Court. The Oswego Police Department continues to investigate the circumstances surrounding this incident as in communication with the Oswego County District Attorney's Office regarding the prosecution of these charges. Anyone with information about this investigation or other is encouraged to contact the Oswego Police Department. Calls will be kept confidential, blah, blah, yada, yada. Okay, so first and probably most importantly, charged and arrested does not equal guilty. Now, a lot of people have immediately jumped to, oh my god, she's getting the maximum sentence, she's getting 4 fucking years for these charges, it's over for her, she's done. And it's like, again, you are so unbelievably stupid. The internet is ridiculously dumb and it infuriates me. Genuinely, it hurts my heart. She's not getting 4 years for this shit. P. Diddy got 4 years. She will not get 4 fucking...
Now, I'm going to skip forward to the basis information on this. He goes on to give analysis about, you know, the arrest and what he thinks is going to happen and the charges and stuff like that. I've already given my opinion on that. I recommend going to watch his part about this. I want to get into the next part about the baseless misinformation in this story because I think it's fine to have your opinion of you think she's going to be charged for 4 years. If you think that, fair enough. I'm not going to argue with you. That's not why I'm here. And again, my whole point is, just because she's been charged, it doesn't necessarily change the original argument in this story. And if anything, it just bolsters what I've said in the past of the US justice system is just a load of shit. It just does not do anything of value, in my opinion. But alas, let's get into the baseless misinformation, because this is where he starts to speak about influencers talking about this story and how basically this circle of misinformation just spreads like wildfire, because people will read TikTok comments, believe them to be true because there are so many comments saying this thing happened, and then because of that, people will think, well, if everyone's saying it, it has to be true. And that's kind of what we're going to get into here.
Million subscribers, and this video has like 700,000 views. And they talk about how there is Ring doorbell camera footage, so I guess we'll see what they have to say.
And she posted it for millions of...
This is a shame. I like Atozy. I think I've met Atozy. I think that he may see this, be like, "What are you talking about, man? We've been hanging out loads." I've spoken to Atozy a bunch of times, but sorry, it's just weird. I'm not trying to be like mean here. I'm not, but I think this is kind of like the problem of like, so much misinformation can go around of where it seems impossible for it to be not true because everyone is believing it, and this is what's happening here, in my opinion.
In the sea. I don't know about you guys, but I think the video got deleted because of that. So obviously that's not allowed on the platform, hence why I can show the clip here. But there were these side-by-side screenshots that started popping up of whether the door was closed or left open.
So I mean, immediately, this is so fucked up on his end. Again, I don't know if this is intentional from him or not, but this cropped photo here is fake. So this is a screenshot that's been posted everywhere on the internet. I haven't found the original video, but I did see somebody post a screenshot from the original video. The video that's circulating now, the door is wide open, and this one is about a third of the way, which means she had to push the door open to take the video that's now circulating. So the video exists, we have a screenshot of it, but we don't have the actual fucking video. Does this not sound a little bit suspicious to anyone fucking else, especially now in the age where AI videos are so convincing that you can't tell a lot of them from, you know, fake ones, or real ones rather. You get what I'm fucking saying here. In the original video, she opens the door. No, she fucking doesn't. There's no original video. We have the original video. This screenshot is fake. It's not real. We would have it if it was real. Like, is no one paying attention to the supposed text there? That is just completely unintelligible. Well, it is. You can read it if you know what the original text is. You got the original text here, a man named Austin or whatever. But look, in this actual original video, because this is the actual original video here. Look, she picks the camera up from the floor and points forward, right? So what the fuck would have happened before that point in some weird unknown original video? Why would she start the video, open the door, put the camera down, and then put it up as though she was starting the video then? Just use your fucking heads, man. Also, in this text here, we see with his pants and underwear to his ankles and his front door wide open. And you can just see from the anatomy of the text, like the way that it's laid out is the exact same as this blurry text over here, which means that it's using the exact same words and claims that the door was wide open. Why would she claim that the door was wide open in some weird, unknown, original, mysterious video when the door clearly isn't wide open? If the door wasn't wide open and she actually opened it in the original video, why would she be saying that the door is wide open? She fucking wouldn't, because it's fake. That's why there's no actual video of it. And for this YouTuber to just show it on screen willy-nilly and not even use the words allegedly to say a screenshot has surfaced of the original video, it's like, are you taking the piss? You've got 2 million subs, man.
There were these side-by-side screenshots that started popping up of whether the door was closed or left open. Either way, dude is in his own house, so is this illegal? No. But my main question is, why is she walking around this dude's house?
She wasn't walking around.
It's frustrating, it is, because she wasn't walking around her own house. It really is frustrating to hear. I just don't know how this story can get to this point of people have gone from she's opened the door deliberately to she's walked around his house. It's genuinely insane. This is why I'm so frustrated, by the way, because so many people believe this stuff. They genuinely, and that's almost, I don't know if you can say it's a misogynistic society or if it's just people who are victims of misinformation campaigns. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of people that have paid attention to the story that have been against the DoorDash girl, people that I know personally, and I've explained to them my argument and they've kind of understood, and it turns out they are victims of just misinformation. So I am choosing to believe most people are on the side of just in general misinformation. Do I believe that there are a lot of misogynists out there that are genuinely just wanting this person to be wrong no matter what? Yes, I do, but I shouldn't have painted everyone as that, in my opinion. I think there are real people out there who genuinely just believe things because they've read comments out there with thousands of likes, and usually when a comment has thousands of likes stating what they believe to be a fact, you would believe it because, well, why would everyone else on the internet be supporting it if it wasn't true? But unfortunately, this is one of the biggest misinformation campaigns I've ever seen.
In the dude's house. It's on the fucking report, man, and there's no evidence that she was in the house because she wasn't. What she did was fucked up. Atozy makes good points in this video. The video should have been taken down. She should have lost her DoorDash job. She was showing a video of a naked man to millions of children without that man's consent. Taking the video on its own potentially can be seen as fucked up. Why do we need to make up lies?
I don't know if she should have lost her job. I personally don't agree with that. I don't think she should have posted the video, but at the same time, she was still arrested for taking the evidence. Like, if she recorded it and reported it to DoorDash, that technically is still a crime because she's recorded what's happened of her being flashed. And if she reported that to DoorDash, did they have to then contact the police who then will just arrest her for recording it? It's kind of like a cycle that will only end to her being arrested, and all she can then do is just not record it and say it happened, and the guy can just deny it because there's no evidence of it, and then again nothing happens in her favor here. It's just impossible.
Why? She's already been fucking arrested for it. It's not as though she's not having a shit enough time as it is. You don't need to lie about it. It's not even that I care about her necessarily, as much as I do feel sorry for her. It's more just angering me how easy it is to trick people, to fool people. All it takes is a fucking TikTok comment. It's ridiculous.
But I think one of the reasons this whole thing went so viral, other than the fact this girl's thought process is borderline crazy, is that no one could agree about the push door or was the door wide open. And I mean, I get why there's a hang up here, because if she actually, pushed the door open to record a guy just laying there in his house.
Sorry, this is funny to hear as well, because DankyJabo also kind of explained to us as well, the door isn't a push or pull door, it's a slide door, which just makes this even funnier.
And then, turned herself into the victim. She's insane. And then we for sure have another member of the Hall of Fame of Influencer Morons. At this point, I need to start holding introduction ceremonies for these kinds of idiots, because I should be starting my videos like, welcome to the newest idiot who's now facing jail time for some social media content. Because at this rate, I'd say a lot of my videos are kind of like that. Anyway, people were arguing about the lighting, angles, wood grain, everything. But this is where the story took a life of its own, because while she was telling millions of people that DoorDash and TikTok were trying to bury her truth, police were piecing together a version of the events that looked very different from what she originally stated online. Because eventually, the police stepped in with their own findings, citing Ring doorbell footage that reportedly showed her opening the door herself.
Oh, the police said that, did they? I wonder where they said that. Could you maybe show us that?
They didn't say that in the original statement. It was just the New York Post that said it based on TikTok comments.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? We can put this to bed now. Finally, she opened the door. She's completely in the wrong. What a fucking hell. I can't believe she'd do such a thing. I can't wait to see this evidence, man.
Ma'am, why did you do that? So, ladies and gentlemen, they got her.
Sir, I have your DoorDash. Oh, ew, I'm a victim!
And I'm not joking to you, by the way. That video right there of two boys doing some weird skit thing is the closest thing that a Tozy shows to evidence of footage. And even in that video, the door was wide open.
Number one, why would you ever do this to begin with? And number two, why would you do this when there's a Ring doorbell camera right there next to the door?
It's a good,
There literally isn't. Again, I'm so fed up, man. I've lost all energy in this video. There is no Ring doorbell, man. There is no Ring doorbell. It's just not there. I don't know why this is still being even debated. Like, again, if you think she's in the wrong, fair enough. But why are we still using all of these arguments? Like, why are we doing this when they're not true? They're based in misinformation and lies. If you genuinely believe she's in the wrong in this situation, fair enough, but at least based it on the facts. Like, if you think the police charges mean something, fair enough, man. But that's it. Like, there's nothing else to really base your opinion on. Like, everything else just seems to be based on the misinformation out there from this and from this news site. There's nothing out there that really backs any argument being made, unless you just genuinely disagree with her. Fair enough, but it seems that everyone that speaks about the situation against her is just quoting misinformation.
You know what? That is a great question. Why would she do this if there was a Ring doorbell camera? They're pretty easy to spot. Do we really think that she's that dumb that there was a camera there and she's lied about the whole thing to millions of people? Or do we maybe think that there wasn't a camera there? Or that if there was a camera there, the door was still wide open, so she had no reason to be scared because she wasn't lying?
Like, did you not think he was going to review the footage after you exposed him to millions of people online with his pants down? What did you think was going to happen? Either way, according to the police in Oswego, the man in the video was not sitting there waiting to expose himself to the delivery driver. He was sleeping and drunk, lying on his couch with no idea what was going on. And thankfully for him, the doorbell camera footage reportedly showed her opening the door herself.
See, this is why I get so angry, because it's not just TikTok comments. It's not just YouTube comments. It's not just fucking people on Reddit. It's not just like, low-level TikTokers with 500 followers spreading some shit online to gain a following. It's YouTubers with millions of subscribers. It's people with huge platforms who are just so willing and so easily fooled, so able to have the cheek to go on camera and say shit this slanderous and this baseless. And
I think this all comes down to the circuit of misinformation that I've spoken about throughout this video, and that's kind of why I wanted to just briefly go through that misinformation section of DankyJabo's video. Is I feel like there's a genuine problem on the internet of where right now we just believe everything we read, in the sense of if a TikTok comment has 10,000 likes, people just assume that to be true because, well, the popular consensus is this thing is right, so obviously I'm going to believe it. But in a time of so much AI, so many bots, and just so much misinformation, I just implore people to use their brains and use a little bit of nuance. I'm not saying you need to agree with what I'm saying in this video, but at least have some nuance. At least just admit that there is a lot of misinformation. There is a lot wrong. If you genuinely believe she's in the wrong, fair enough. I'm not even here to argue with you. I'm just here to give my opinion and perspective on this situation. I personally think she could have done things differently, and I think she probably should have done things differently, but at the same time, I am more on her side in this situation than anyone else, because at the end of the day, there is still a video of her being flashed, and at worst, the guy, as DankyJabo said, is just a drunk idiot. But at best, he's a drunk idiot. Again, I'm ill. Coming back to making content, my brain's not fully working. But at best, he's a flasher. He's somebody that did indecently expose himself to her intentionally. But either way, he has flashed her on both sides of the argument here. So that's why I'm on her side. Yes, she could have done things differently, but at the same time, there is no perfect victim. When you're having so many people out there call you a liar based on so much misinformation, you have YouTubers who are calling you a liar based on that same misinformation, it's kind of understandable why she lost her head in this situation. It really is. Like, I completely understand why somebody would get angry and emotional in something like this. It really makes sense to me. And again, if you're still on her side, okay, but at least base that just on your own opinion, not based on the misinformation, not based on all of the lies out there. That's kind of the main reason I made this video, because I wasn't really going to originally respond, because I made my opinion, I got my piece out there, I've made a few Instagram stories about it, but I've just been so frustrated about the misinformation and what this story represents, because I have seen over the years, as I mentioned before, countless amount of people speak up against people. People have said, where's the proof? They don't have any actual proof, because it's hard to get proof in certain situations, but when somebody does have proof, then that having proof is actually a problem, and it's just so frustrating. And I know this video, it's not going to win anyone over, really. Unless you're already on my side, you probably agree with me. But if you don't agree with me, you're not going to change your opinion in this situation. And I think that's kind of what confuses me the most about this situation. I've never seen a topic so polarizing, of where people just aren't willing to listen or have nuance. I imagine most people who are against me in this situation will just dislike the video, comment something hateful, comment something negative. I don't know, just saying you're wrong or she was arrested, and then just move on with their day. They won't listen to the nuanced conversation. They won't listen to DankyJabo. They won't listen to the people out there that are just trying to make people understand there is so much nuance and misinformation in this story. But yeah, this has been my opinion. To kind of wrap things up, I don't know if you can say this is a double down. I just think I'm sticking by my opinion in the first place. Yes, I should have handled it a bit better in the original situation. I think I was just annoyed about all of the misinformation, and I still am. But yeah, with that, let me know your opinions down below. Genuinely interested to hear what a lot of you have to say. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Main channel video coming very soon about Jimbo, Jummy, James Charles, and Jeffree Star. And yeah, bye-bye, everyone.